In 1944, one currency quietly became the most powerful in human history. A green piece of paper that could shake governments, end wars, and rewrite the world economy. But what if I told you? The world has already begun building a plan to end the dollar's rule? A plan that didn't start in the 2000s or the 1990s, but at the exact moment the dollar became king. Today, we uncover the untold story of how world powers have tried and are still trying to collapse the dollar, and why every attempt has failed. To understand this plan, we have to return to Bretton Woods 1944. A shattered world. Every major currency would be tied to the US dollar, and the dollar would be tied to gold. But here's the catch. The moment one currency dominates, the countdown to its downfall begins. History shows a simple pattern. The stronger an empire's money becomes, the more enemies begin plotting its collapse. In 1944, the dollar controlled 66% of world reserves. Today, it still holds over 58%, even after 80 years of attempts to dethrone it. So how do you collapse a currency that runs the world? You don't attack it directly. You weaken the system holding it up. Break the web, not the spider. The dollar's power comes from oil. In the 1970s, the US made a deal with Saudi Arabia, the petrodollar. That's why countries like China, Russia and Iran formed agreements to trade oil in their own currencies. Next, build an alternative banking network. The world runs through SWIFT, mostly in dollars. So new networks quietly emerged. China's CIPS, Russia's SPFS, dozens of regional systems. Unplug from one socket, install another. Then, hoard gold. China has spent decades buying thousands of tons. Russia too, because gold becomes your shield when planning a currency shift. If the dollar is a skyscraper, gold is the bunker beneath its rivals. Finally, create a rival currency bloc. BRICS, now expanded with major oil nations, is building a shared commodity-backed currency system. Not symbolic, strategic, control energy, control trade, control currency flows. But none of these plans succeeded until the world changed in 2020. In 2020, the US printed more money in 1 year than in the previous decade. Inflation surged, confidence cracked, and the world realized something terrifying. The dollar wasn't invincible. Then came the shock. When the US froze Russia's $300 billion in reserves, every country got the same message. If you anger the US, your money can disappear. Suddenly, even allies wondered, are we safe? BRICS expanded. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, energy giants joined the sphere. Their oil began flowing in non-dollar currencies. Meanwhile, digital currencies entered the battlefield. China's digital yuan went live. Russia launched the digital ruble. Over 130 countries began their own CBDC projects. Digital money removes one of America's biggest advantages, its control over global banking infrastructure. For the first time in history, the dollar faces not one challenger, but many. So what happens if the dollar keeps shrinking? Imports become more expensive. America imports almost everything. When the dollar weakens, everyday life becomes pricier. Debt becomes heavier. A weaker dollar means global investors demand higher interest. That means higher mortgages, higher business costs, a tighter economy. We enter a multipolar money world. Petro-yuan bloc, digital ruble bloc, BRICS commodity bloc, dollar bloc. A world where money has no center, only competing systems. The dollar won't collapse overnight. It will erode slowly, silently, like a king who still wears the crown, but no longer rules the kingdom. The untold story of the dollar's collapse plan isn't a conspiracy. It's a pattern. Every empire's currency rises, peaks, and declines. Decline doesn't mean destruction. It means transition. The dollar won't vanish, but it will no longer stand alone. Because the world is rewriting the rules of money, and for the first time in nearly a century, America isn't holding the pen. So here's the question. Do you think the dollar will remain the world's king, or are we witnessing the start of a new global money order?